Hello and welcome. This video will be covering what's coming up in June, July, August, and September. And I've included September because there's an overlap between August, September. I've noticed reviewing my video from what I had planned in May. My reading is still way off track. I did get a few of the videos done that I had hoped, so Travis and spring cleaning, also the Keening versus Akatar, two books that were published in 2015, both celebrating a 10-year anniversary. What I also realized going through some of my books, because as you can see here, right now my desk is covered, and that's just for this video. That doesn't include the baskets, the piles, and my cubes need to be organized. So, Six of Crows is also from 2015. This is a Netflix series because for some reason now they put these things on the covers and you can't take them off. Makes me sad, but it is what it is. I have yet to read Six of Crows. Like Akatar, I've heard about Six of Crows recently all over BookTube, so I was surprised to find out this is also 2015. The Keening is 2015. It's an excellent read. I'm going to keep talking about it, and be sure to check out Margaret Pinard's channel to learn about more of her other works. Obviously, I need to replan, reset, and definitely get organized. Two books I probably should read sooner than later is to finish the Speed Reading Idiot's Guide, because as you'll see through this video, I have a lot of books to get through. The other one to help reset is, of course, The Idiot's Managing Your Time. So both of those are definitely need to read sooner than later books. And as long as Tiki doesn't come traveling through, those should be safe there till I get the books back in place. Let's start with the upcoming live streams. I have a few booked, and to find out about who's on my live streams and the topics, I always have community posts with updates, so you can check in there to see who will be appearing. Currently in June, I have two live streams booked. One is Saturday, June the 14th, and I am doing a buddy read and maybe coming a group read of the Vampire Chronicles. So on June the 14th, we'll be talking about Interview with the Vampire and the Vampire Lestat. Kat, Ginger Bibliophile, and I have started rereading the Vampire Chronicles as we've read the series before. During the live stream, we'll be joined by Alan, Big Hard Books and Classics, Stuart Griffin, and Leslie, Books, Gers, and Purrs, as they've also read the books. And I'm not sure if they'll be joining us for the rest of the Chronicles. Throughout the month, I'll be doing summaries of 4 of the books. So the first two that I just mentioned, The Queen of the Damned and The Tale of the Body Thief. We're reading one book a month, so Queen of the Damned is our May read, June is Tale of the Body Thief, and I think Memnoch is the next one. On June the 19th, I'll be joined by Pat from Book Chat with Pat, and we'll be talking about Book Trek 2025, an event that was created by Vin at Revenant Reads. Be sure to check out his channel, both for the announcement and to find out about all the other co-hosts in his event. I'll leave links to all the channels I mentioned down below, as always. Tying in with that, earlier this year I read Star Trek on the Brain, Alien Minds, Human Minds. This is by Robert Secular and Randolph Blake. This ties in with Star Trek, not just because of the title, but throughout the book they talk about human issues and the mind and relate it back to different Star Trek episodes throughout all of them, not just the original. So there's Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager. So I'll be doing the book review of this during the Star Trek months. Last night, yes, it's only May 29th, but I started Sarek. I just found this during one of my recent book hauls at the thrift store. Looking forward to learning more about Spock's father. I'll be reading a number of other books for the event. It goes from June, July to August. So at the end of each month, I'll have a summary video of what I've read and if I've rewatched some of the movies. In July, I'm going to focus on Canadian guests, partly because it's a bit hard to find us. I've met so many American and United Kingdom content creators, as well as creators from other countries like Norway and Australia and New Zealand, which is amazing. But trying to find my fellow Canadians has been a bit of a challenge. I did notice going through my subscription list that I have 14 channels by Canadian content creators. I'll be reaching out to content creators as I have 3 more dates to book for July. I just had to close the curtain. I realized there was a bit of a glare because thankfully we have the sun out again today. On July 3rd, I'll be chatting with Donna-Marie Reads. Donna-Marie is also here in Ontario, as am I, but I live in southwest Ontario. She lives farther over to, I believe it's the east. She's somewhere between 9 to 10 hours away from me, depending on traffic, just to give you an idea of how big our province is. Donna-Marie does reading sprints, crafting sprints, and other types of sprints, so be sure to go check out her channel. On July 10th, I'll be chatting for the second time with Richard Palmisano. Richard is a paranormal investigator and an author. Cool thing is, he's about 2 hours away from me here in Ontario. For this live stream, we'll be chatting about Overshadows, as well as Meeting Place of the Dead, 2 of the books written by Richard about his investigations at 2 different sites. You can learn more about Richard at his website, The Searchers Group, which is a group that he started when he was 18 years old and is still running 40 plus years later. There's a link down below. Live streams for August and September are yet to be booked and announced. As I said, you can always find out about who's coming up on my live streams in my community posts that you can find on my homepage. As far as group reads and upcoming content about those, I've already mentioned the Vampire Chronicles, and I'm pointing that way because they're back in the cube. Another series that Ven and I are rereading is The Wheel of Time. We also have members in the group who are reading it for the first time. So I've yet to do my videos of book 1 and 2, Eye of the World, The Great Hunt. I need to start Dragon Reborn and The Shadow Rising. Like Vampire Chronicles, we're doing 1 book a month or 1 book every 2 months because you can see they're not small and we all have a number of different reading things we're involved in. So we're just going with whenever we can get to the reads. So that content will be coming up as well. In September, I will be starting a group reread of A Court of Thorn and Roses. I'll be joined by Ven and Noah because it's their fault I read these series. They have yet to finish them. And we'll be joined by Hermie, the book hermit. And for Hermie and I, this will be a reread. I'll wait to do my videos on ACOTAR until the fall because I did buy book one. The others I read through my library and I had to get through them quickly because there was no opportunity to renew them. It was a long wait for the hold, and of course, other people are waiting. I now own the series except for Frost and Starlight. Yes, I'll make a little plug here. I do have an Amazon link down below if you would like to help me out either with my book purchases or my book murdering supplies. Always appreciated. I do have the 4 chunker books that I can read through a bit more slowly this time, annotate. Yes, I'll be using highlighters, markers, and tabs because there really is a lot to this series, as much as I joke and carry on about it. A book that I plan to read for Horror Mayhem, Stephen King's The Shining. I didn't get to it, and during my live stream with Jen from Literary Love 123, yes, I have my little sticky tab. Jen and I will be doing this as a buddy read in September, so I can now put that off to the side for a bit. Another book that I'd been hoping to get through, Dune's been waiting for 3 years since I bought the box set. I have the next 2 books in the series, but I still need to read Dune. It's one of my beefcakes in 2025, and I have yet to get it started. So I'm hoping sometime over these next 4 months I will get to it. But as you've seen, the Wheel of Time books are not small. Many of the other books I've picked are not small. So I'm not sure if Dune's going to wait a bit longer or this is the year I finally get it read. Events throughout the next 4 months that I participate in, I've already mentioned Book Trek. There'll be Don't Die July, which is run by Noah, the bookworm, and Ven's Corner. For that, I will likely be revisiting Michael McDowell, The Elementals. He's one of my favorite authors, and I'm so glad I've been able to find his works again. And I may revisit Blackwater. I mean, I waited 40 years to finish it because originally it was published in 6 short books, and my library growing up only had 4. So I never found out how the series ended because they didn't have the last 2. But last year, my husband bought me the 1-book version, and I was able to finally find out how it ended. So I may revisit those 2 for Don't Die July. August and September isn't really an event. It's my own personal choice because August is the anniversary of when I got this interesting capture. No, it is not a UFO. It is a plane. But I enjoy reading about UFOs, alternate ideas, and theories. So that's my main focus for August and September reading. This year I'm adding prophecies, so it will be UFO books that I didn't get to talk about last year, be talking about conspiracy theories, alternate ideas, so taking a look at things like crop circles, cryptids, that type of thing. I need to get my David Wilcox books finished. This came up in my live stream yesterday with Gavin from Genre Books, Nostradamus, The Complete Prophecies. And again, it's not a little book. This is by John Hogue. Now, I'm not sure if I will be talking about Nostradamus in August, September with the prophecies, but I will be doing a Hoax or Holy Grail episode about him. I'm really wanting to get back to that series. I just need to find the time to read the books and do a bit of research. Another thing, of course, since it's growing season here in southwestern Ontario, there'll be more yard videos. So as I'm out and about getting certain areas ready for planting or just getting them cleared, or just walking through and showing you what's blooming, or my different animal visitors, because although I live in the city, we have skunks, raccoons, bunnies, squirrels, over 20 species of birds, a protected feral cat colony, 5 different species of butterflies, various species of bees, and numerous different insects. So I like to feature them as well. Sundays will continue as cat videos. Some weeks it may be nature clips. We'll see how that works out. The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron is one of my projects that went completely off the rails. I should have been done the 12 weeks by now. I'm still on week 1. This just has not been a year to stay on track and stay focused. So yes, Captain Makeup just needs to go away, and I'll leave it at that. As far as The Artist's Way, I am still planning to do a series of videos. It will be 13 weeks, as week 1 will be the introduction of how the program actually works. And the next 12 videos will be a summary of what she talks about in each of the chapters. And I'll mention a few of the activities. So what I'm going to be doing with The Artist's Way is reading through it quick, getting the videos made, and then I'm going to work through it as the videos go up. Another project that is months behind is the study Bible. I had planned to do that on Sundays and read through. Took me forever to get started. I did finally pick it up a few weeks ago. I got into, I think, chapter 5 of Genesis. I remembered all the old arguments I had with one of my teachers because I went to a Roman Catholic public school. And nope, those first few chapters, I just can't do it. 2 people populating the whole world does not, in my brain, make sense. And it really doesn't make sense after Cain goes out and finds a wife somewhere else. There's a disconnect there of how are Adam and Eve the first 2 people, but there's people outside of the Garden of Eden. So, because this ties in with the Da Vinci Spiral and so many other books, because authors or researchers tend to cherry pick from the Bible and only put a little bit of the quote in, as I'm going through the books on the Da Vinci Spiral, I want to go to the actual section in the Bible and read the quote that they're talking about, because context definitely matters. So although reading this front to back may not work out, I did start the Idiot's Guide to the Bible, and this might actually help. This is meant to be read with the Bible, so they talk about it, explain a bit. So I'm hoping maybe putting those 2 together gets me back on track with those readings. Now, along with that, another book that I do need to finish is Positive Energy by Judith Orloff. I've already done a video about a few of the chapters in this book, as well as her previous book, Survival Guide for Empaths. So I need to finish reading this and do that summary video as well. After that, I'm going to move on to a guide to shadow work. Shadow work is not dark work. It's the parts of ourselves that sometimes we don't look at and we certainly don't show to other people. This is a workbook to explore your hidden self. This is by Stephanie Kirby. Lots of plans. I just need to manage my time, not get thrown off kilter about various different things. I need to stay mindful because there are certainly impacts being felt here in Canada, in my own community, but I really need to focus closer to home because I can't do anything about so many of the other things going on. I was just looking up because, of course, little Miss Tiki is walking up along the cubes. But she isn't playing with my carrying tree, so we'll take that as a win. And yes, that's another video I need to still do is the carrying tree update, which is now done and ready. So yay, I did get that done. I just reread Angels and Demons because that's the first Robert Langdon book, so it made sense to refresh and review about that character. It was an interesting read because it tied in with current events regarding the Pope, and this relates to the Pope and CERN. CERN I'll talk more about in August, September, because there's a lot of conspiracy theories about CERN and what's actually going on in Switzerland. I'll be rereading this. I think it's the third time now, and definitely there'll be a lot more annotating and highlighting, and then I will be traveling on to the other 100+ books that I have related to this and tracking things down. A big part of that as well will be going through my personal master list of books and picking out those and getting things set up to pull all that information together. I'm not sure if I'm going to go on and read Origin, which is another Robert Langdon book. I also have The Lost Symbol, but those may end up waiting as it's more the different information in the Da Vinci Code that I'm actually spiraling around rather than Robert Langdon, the character himself. Yes, there's a bit of brightness over here. Tiki's decided she wants the curtain open, so she's snuck in so she can look out the window. The other big project that I have going on, because these all interrelate, the Bible, Da Vinci Code, and of course it made sense to then learn about the pagans. So I've done A Witch Alone a couple of times. I'm going through it again. I started it a couple of months ago, and unfortunately, like all the other projects, it's gone by the wayside. So I need to get back on track with that and do the exercises. I do have a journal for the exercises and the notes with that. The other thing that I do have for my pagan project, I put together this spiral journal. I had cardstock that I cut down to size. And what I'm planning to do with this is list all of my books and put different information in here because I have a number of books that I'll be going through related to magic, greencraft, Scottish witchcraft, a whole range of books that tie in with this. That also includes Drawing Down the Moon by Margot Adler. This is a reread, as many of these books will be, but I'm now pulling out and collating information from them. So I really need to get started on this. I had planned to read it in May. That covers the live streams, group reads, buddy reads, personal projects, what you can expect in terms of some of the content coming up. The last thing to update you on are the Friday reads. I had been doing Grimm Fairy Tales, In May for Horror Mayhem, I was reading Stephen King. I had planned to do the reading of Obsidian Murders, and Nicole has given me permission to read her book, so I'm going to start doing that on Fridays in June. I've also finished Murderous Fairies, Book 2 of the Midnight Detective Agency. After I finish the Obsidian Murders reading, before I hop into Murderous Fairies, I've also been given permission to read Gareth Howell's work. So I'm going to read a little bit of The Brown Yelp Gang. I will also be selecting stories from his other work, 10 Tales of Transformation. On Fridays, I'll either be reading Nicole Brona or Gareth Howells for the next couple of months. I've just started reading the Dresden Files recently. I found book 1 and 2 months ago at the thrift store, but I wanted to hold off until I got a few more. And if you've seen one of my latest book hauls, I found 8 more books in the series. So I finished Stormfront. I just finished Full Moon yesterday. I do have Grave Peril, and I'm hoping I can get book 4 from the library fairly soon, because I am finding that because the stories interconnect, it's actually good to read them closer together because there's something building for sure. Another series that I do want to start and finish before September is Space Odyssey by Arthur C. Clarke. So I've seen the movie 2001. I don't think I've ever read the book. If I did, I don't remember it. I found all 3 of these at my thrift store, so very excited about that. So I've got 2001, 2010, and 3001. That covers all the books that I had on my desk. It is by no means all the books that I have planned. Step number 1 is going to be getting all my books organized by subject, which is how they're in my cubes and on my bookcases. I need to go through my master list and figure out what I have yet to read, because one of my big goals is to read everything I own. I need to get the cubes organized, meaning not having books all over the place, and then schedule time to work on each of these projects and follow through with that schedule. That should work pretty well because I either spend full days doing yard work, and eventually I can just sit out on the deck and enjoy the yard and all the visitors, and I take my books and other things outside when I'm doing that. So fingers crossed, I get myself on track, I stay on track and follow through with the plans. There should be plenty of content through June, July, August, September, and well beyond that. If you're still here, thank you so much for the gift of your time. Let me know in the comments down below with a little smiley face or a thumbs up. And until next time, remember, be safe, be well, and big hugs.